All right, this is take 2 on this video. There's a joke in Mystery Men, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. There's a joke in Mystery Men about toggling a switch, and yeah, I was toggling the button for record and I didn't check the numbers, and now I'm checking them in a paranoid fashion. But this means savings for you, because now everything I said before is going to be compacted down into a much denser experience. So what did I do yesterday? Yesterday, I sat down and I worked out how to do this whole create pre-signed URL thing, which was very much a case of eating my vegetables. It was a long day, so today's going to be a little bit shorter. It was a long day. Why did I do this? 2 reasons. 1, this was eating my vegetables because if I don't do this, there is a necessary manual step that needs to be done every time I add new audio to a skill. I need to go and I need to make it public. Because I don't have a more elegant way of accessing these files. So I need to go and make it public. I forget that, things break. I go into the experience and suddenly I get Alexa saying, oh, I can't access the file that you've told me to access. And that's a bit of a pants experience. It's not fun. And so I wanted to remove that. Every one of these investments in time that I have made is paid dividends, and paid dividends well. If I go back to any of these prototypes that I'm working on to tinker with different things, getting back into them is really straightforward because I've got my Jenkins server set up. Getting a new build of these things out is literally a matter of pressing a button. And so, boop, new build out. Great, fantastic. Because I spent the time, I invested the time in order to do that, so it pays off dividends. So I want to get rid of this manual step. Second reason, this is kind of a timely point because Naughty Dog had a horrible thing happen to Last of Us 2. Their new game, which is coming out June 19th, PlayStation 4 exclusive. Highly recommend it. I'm a huge fan of Last of Us. And tragically, well, tragically is one of those words. It is tragic for the people there, but I think at the moment it's a bit of an overwrought word because of everything that's happening around us. It's a word that feels like it's kind of claimed by the broader circumstance of life. But it must have been heartbreaking for the people who were working on this because a full playthrough video was released online, and so all of the details of Last of Us have been spoiled. Now the people who on the internet who enjoy making life miserable for everyone else are going around all of the time and spoiling plot details from Last of Us Part 2. How did this happen? There were AWS credentials that were in an older Naughty Dog game that pointed folks to an AWS, I believe an S3 bucket. I haven't read the articles for it because I don't want to get spoiled on Last of Us Part 2. But it would make sense because if you're storing files in AWS, S3 is the solution that you use. It's their file storage place. It's where I store my audio for the prototypes that I'm putting together at the moment. And there were AWS credentials that pointed to this bucket, which had a bunch of stuff in it related to Last of Us 2. And this isn't me saying that, oh, now I'm smarter than the people at Naughty Dog, because no, those people are incredible at what they do. And I'm sure that when they were putting together whichever game it was, that was the solution that made sense at the time. But it highlights how critical security can be for these things. And so I don't want these files being openly accessible. This is something that, I mean, all of this is about research and development. I mean, that's why I'm here. So I want to be able to talk authoritatively to folks and say, these are the steps that you do in order to ensure that your assets are locked down securely. And so now I can do that. I'm going to be putting together a short blog post today, which transitions into what am I doing today? Short blog post, because I could not find one place that showed me code examples of everything I needed to do in order to access files in this secure way. So I'm going to write that. I'm also going to be sitting down and pulling in the audio assets that I want to use as part of this experience. I'm a sound designer, Mom. only in the most elementary way. But it's fun. It's fun. I'm basically just looking through. I mentioned yesterday that I've got my sound libraries in one place now. So I'm just going through and going, okay, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Oh, there's a sound effect for that. I can do that. Great. So I'm pulling all of that stuff together today. I've got a consult this afternoon with an awesome audio expert, which is going to be following on from conversations around mixing last week. I'm also going to send out some emails today to prime some consults for next week around epistolary narrative, and also around some more sound design with another awesome audio expert that I want to work with. This is going to be one of those weeks where I'm cashing in a chip, and this week is going to become 2 weeks. So mixing for location was originally weeks 9 and 10. It's now going to become a 3-week process. Because I also want to be doing some research around epistolary narrative at the same time. I still haven't finished reading through Art of Game Design, and I really want to get back to that. It's just a matter of finding the time for it. So I'm going to try and carve out some time for that. But yeah, that's what I'm doing today. I'm pulling together, I'm doing elementary sound design by pulling together stuff and going, I reckon that'd be cool, and starting to put a mix together. I hope that you're safe and that you're well and that the day treats you well. I'm going to be going out this afternoon and grabbing groceries. This is just a brief tangent, but you know, it's interesting because I found that last time I went out, I wasn't as stressed as I had been in the past, and that makes me worry. It makes me worry that now I'm not stressed enough, which is a ridiculous catch-22 for my brain to trap me in. But there we are. So yeah. It's a world out there, folks. It's a world out there, and it's taken its toll, so be kind to yourself. And if you want someone to say something nice to you, you know where to find me. Reach out. I'm here. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.